Welcome back. Today I wanted to discuss these new RayBan Meta smart glasses. They came out just a few weeks ago in October 2023. I've been testing them for the last few weeks and I do have a number of positives and some cons to discuss. And yes, there are some negatives that you should keep in mind. I'm also going to compare them to Bose Frames Tenor, which were my last set of smart glasses that I've been using for about 2 years. If you're interested in the full comparison, stay tuned, continue watching. Otherwise, you can skip to the timestamp below where I specifically get into the discussion of RayBan Meta. So as you can probably tell, I do wear glasses. I've had a number of glasses over the years. Everything from cheaper options such as Zenni Optical, which I do think produce good value glasses on a budget. And I've had a number of options from places like LensCrafters or a variety of other stores. A few years ago, I also chose to buy prescription sunglasses. I was never a big fan of putting things near my eyes, so contact lenses are not something I ever gave an honest chance to. I should probably try them again. But overall, it was a life-changing experience to get prescription sunglasses, especially for people like me who are not fans of contact lenses. So that's my advice to you. First of all, if you haven't tried prescription sunglasses, you should get a pair. And like most people, my first two pairs were, Oakley glasses because you can easily pop out the original lenses and then you can add prescription lenses. However, 2 years ago, I wanted to try something different. I wanted to get a pair of smart glasses, but I didn't want to spend too much money or get something that was just, too geeky looking. So the two options at the time were Ray-Ban Stories, which had a number of issues with, camera, sound wasn't too good. So I quickly chose not to buy those. And then ultimately, I ended up buying a pair of these Bose Frames because they were second generation product from Bose. And overall, they seem to be a much more polished product at a time. So with the Bose Frames, I really did enjoy using them over the last 2 years. They have 6 hours of battery life, which is not ideal. However, the sound quality is pretty good for what it is, keeping in mind it's a small set of speakers, and of course it's an open air design, so that you can still hear what's happening around you. For example, if you're playing sports, biking, etc. Also, these Bose Frames Tenor sunglasses were quite good. You could call up Siri, you could answer voice calls, you could use Siri, to check the weather, respond to emails, all kinds of things. However, there were two issues with the Bose Frames. Number one issue was the fact that, well, first of all, with 6 hours battery life, you're quite limited in terms of, for example, traveling, right? You would very quickly need to start charging them again. This brings us to point number two, which is that Bose Frame have a proprietary magnetic charger, which means that if you lose it, if you forget it, if it gets stolen, damaged, whatnot, then your ability to find a replacement quickly would be very limited. And the third con, I think, with Bose Frames is the fact that ultimately Bose had a bit of a difficult time explaining how is it better to get something like Bose Frames versus getting a regular pair of sunglasses and then getting, AirPods Pro, for example, or any other headset which allows you to both listen to your sound, music, whatnot, but also to be able to turn on transparency mode to hear what's happening around you. Unsurprisingly, when I went to Bose Frames' website just recently, I found that they only seem to be selling the sportier version, which, by the way, does have a USB-C plug. So I think really Bose is realizing some of the limitations with their first two generation of Bose Frames. Okay, so let's discuss RayBan Meta now specifically. So when I saw RayBan Meta a few weeks ago, roughly middle of October 2023, I noticed that RayBan Meta improved basically all of the various features compared to the first generation RayBan Stories. RayBan Meta has a better camera, better speakers, it has IPX4 water resistance, so basically it's a much better, much more polished product all around. To begin with, the packaging that the glasses come in is very basic. However, I really do appreciate the fact that you can basically recycle every single part of the packaging. Next, the carry case is actually fantastic. It looks good, it feels good. There's a little LED where the notch is. It tells you green that your sunglasses are fully charged, or yellow that they're still in the process of charging. As you can probably guess, the case has its own battery inside, which brings the total battery life for RayBan Meta to approximately 36 hours, which is approximately 6 times longer than what I mentioned to you for Bose Frames. So this is a huge improvement and should easily last you through one full weekend. Additionally, at the bottom of the case, you can also find a USB-C port, which is used to charge the glasses and the case, which of course is a much better solution than a proprietary magnetic charger. Next, in terms of design and style, I will say that this is very much a personal choice. The best thing I can do is suggest that you either order a few pairs to try, or you can go to your nearest, for example, LensCrafter store. Usually they have a few different options, just so you can try to see what looks the best on you. But all I can tell you is that these RayBan Meta come in 2 different styles. I have the Wayfarer model, which I prefer. It's a little bit more rectangular. They also come in 2 different sizes. And of course, there's a variety of different frames. So far, I'm leaning towards the what they call Rebel Black. It's a shiny black, but you can still see the various electronic components through it. Let me know in the comments if you have any preference for which particular frame you like more, but ultimately this will be a very much personal decision. I will say one more thing. I saw a comment on one of the other YouTube videos. Somebody said, well, these are made of plastic. However, honestly, even if you look at sunglasses, which cost a few $1,000s, significantly more than these RayBan Meta, they're also going to be made with plastic. What I can tell you is that these glasses are made really well. They feel solid. All of the various components, especially electronic components, seem to be really well put together. So I personally have no issues with the overall build quality of this product. Next, let's talk about sound. I would say that sound overall is quite good. Again, keeping in mind that this is an open air system and the speakers are quite small. This means you're generally not going to get very low, deep bass, but this is one of the compromises that you must put up with in order to be able to also hear what's happening around you. I will say that maybe this is the only area where I think Bose Frames did have a bit of an advantage. I tried listening to a same song on one pair of glasses and then I switched to the other. And I think I would give a slight edge to Bose Frames because I think they were able to hit slightly lower frequencies. But again, neither of the sunglasses is really able to hit very deep bass notes. Okay, so now I think we're gonna deal with the biggie. I think this is gonna be the elephant in the room and probably the reason most of you are thinking of buying these glasses and also why you are watching this video. So I ended up doing some extensive testing for RayBan Meta and I found a few different things that I'm gonna summarize. First, I compared the video and still image output of these RayBan Meta to my iPhone 13 Pro, which is also what I'm currently using to record this video. Overall, I found that RayBan Meta are able to produce a pleasing video and image quality, especially during daytime. I find that one of the major benefits of this is that if you have these glasses on all the time, especially maybe if you buy transition lenses, which allow you to wear the glasses both indoors and outdoors, irrespective of how bright it is, I find that it's very beneficial to be able to take a quick picture or video just by tapping on the button on the arm of the frames, or by saying, hey Meta, start a video. So that's one of the benefits of having this camera always on your face. However, I think you can see in the comparisons that iPhone 13 Pro, and obviously any phone that's more advanced than that, it has better stabilization than RayBan Meta. It also is able to shoot in 4K 60. RayBan Meta maxes out at 1080p 30 frames per second. And also with iPhone 13 Pro or any smartphone, you're able to record for as long as you have memory on your phone. However, with RayBan Meta, you're limited to 60-second video clips at a time. You can, however, stream for longer if you're doing live streaming, but this does lower the resolution to 720p. So, are there any negatives that I've observed thus far? And I would say that there are. Of course, some of these things could be addressed in the future. However, my position is that I never want to make assumptions about what could be happening in the future until the manufacturer actually implements the changes. First thing is that a lot of the recording for videos and still images is very basic. There aren't very many options. For example, it would be nice if in the future RayBan and Meta added the ability, for example, to record time-lapse, I think that will produce some really cool looking videos. However, at the moment, you do not have any of those advanced options. The second negative I observed is that sometimes when it comes to still images, I found that the focus wasn't 100% where I expected it to be. I think part of it is just me getting more used to using the product, getting used to the delay between pressing the shutter button and having the picture actually recorded. But nonetheless, I did experience at least a few situations where I found the picture to be slightly out of focus. So again, this is something to keep in mind when recording still images, and hopefully it can be addressed in future firmware updates. Next, I want to quickly touch on the smart features and the app. Overall, I found the Meta Assistant to be quite good. However, again, referring back to my Bose Frames, I did prefer the ability to invoke Siri when I wanted to ask questions. Now, do I think that RayBan and Meta will make the change to allow people to, use Google Assistant or Siri over Meta Assistant? Probably not. It's in their benefit to have you using their assistant. So this is one of those areas where I feel that although it works fine, I would prefer to use Siri, as was the case with the Bose Frames. In terms of the app itself is relatively basic. However, it does allow you to transfer and upload whatever you record in terms of videos and still images. Either you can upload it, to Facebook, Instagram, or of course you can simply download it on your phone, which is what I've done, to be able to add it to this YouTube video. Two additional points which I think many people consider negatives, but I think it's really just something to keep in mind. Number one is the whole aspect of privacy. So many people feel products such as these glasses to be a potential invasion of privacy. However, in my opinion, that's not necessarily the case because, well, any smartphone these days has a very good camera. And I know that many years ago, people had similar arguments and concerns or fears about people being able to record at any time. And we know that these days, that's obviously something that we just need to deal with as a society. It has pros and it has cons. Of course, in many countries or most countries, you're able to record in public. However, again, it's still a matter of ethics. So I think that you shouldn't necessarily record people if they do not wish to be recorded.
Oh God, it's a video?
Yep.
Of course, RayBan and Meta, I think, have learned from their previous glasses. There's now an LED on the right temple, which always comes on when you're recording or taking a photo. You can't turn it off. And even if you try blocking it, for example, with a piece of black electrical tape, this prevents the camera from functioning because it knows something is blocking the sensor. And the second point, which I think is going to be, again, a contentious point that's maybe going to stop people from buying this product, is the fact that you must have a Meta account in order to really use any of the smart features. Specifically, if you do not have a Meta account, so Facebook, Instagram, etc., you won't be able to fully set up the app. And if you're not able to set up the app, then you cannot use any of the features such as transferring videos and photos. So again, keep this in mind. If you have any type of a moral or fundamental objection about getting a Meta account, then these are not going to be the smart glasses for you. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the video. You can let me know in the comments, are you planning on buying one of these RayBan Meta glasses? Have you bought a pair already? Or perhaps you're just waiting for RayBan and Meta to address some of the cons I discussed. Thank you for watching. See you next time.